Shiny moon. Friends, shiny moon means brightness of the moon. What we can see by looking at the moon from the earth. Not moonlight, because moonlight gives us brightness on earth. Shiny moon is the one that is brightest among millions of twinkling stars. Shiny moon is one which looks like a shining bright body even in the strong light of the sun. Shiny moon is the one which gives us a hidden glimpse in a cloudy environment. The moon becomes so bright because of the sun's rays. Due to the large size of the moon, why does the moon appear so bright to us from earth? Moon is the only natural satellite of the earth. It orbits around the earth. Moon does not have light of its own. It looks bright because it reflects the sunlight that falls on it. Our sign lights up the dark side of the moon. Scientific American. HTTPS www.scientificamerican.com. Article Earth Sign 21 July 2023. Earth sign lights up the dark side of the moon this week, and any time there's a new crescent moon, the lunar night is a little less dark thanks to the bright reflected light on earth. There is no dark side of the moon. Really, matter of fact, it's all dark, pink flight. With my apologies to Roger Waters, who wrote those lyrics, there is a dark side of the moon, and sometimes it's not all that dark. You can see that for yourself over the next few nights. Go outside just after sunset and turn your gaze to the west. You will see brilliant Venus setting not far above the horizon, and depending on the exact day you look, the thin crescent moon nearby. If you go out tonight, Friday, July 21, 2023, the moon will be an extremely thin crescent just above Venus and next to the much fainter red planet Mars. But over the next few nights, the moon will pull away to the east to the upper left, that is for northern hemisphere. Observe as its lunar crescent grows thicker. Once you spot the moon, take a close look at it. The part of it lit by the sun forms a tight crescent with the tip pointing away from the sun. And as for the until unlit remainder, that should be invisible, right? Well, look again. If the twilight is deep enough, you might see that the dark part of the moon isn't, well, dark. It appears to be faintly glowing, softly illuminated and forming an eerie outline of the rest of the moon's disk. In a pale and gentle shade of its full glory, it looks like a ghost. Normally, the dark side of the moon is truly dark. Like Earth, the moon is spherical and sitting in space, one half of it is always lit by the sun. As the moon orbits our planet, we see different parts of the its sun-bathed Earth-facing hemisphere, which creates the moon's familiar faces. Where the sun shines on the lunar surface, it's daytime, and where it's dark, it's nighttime. Astronomers call the line between day and night the terminator, and when the moon is new and a thin crescent, that line marks the location of sunrise across the moon's face. As seen from the moon's surface, anywhere along the terminator, the sun is rising and still low in the lunar sky. The rest of the moon, which we see as dark, is still in night, with the sun yet to rise to start the long lunar day. That in turn means the part of the lunar surface that is not lit should be as dark as space. Yet, looking up at the moon's thin crescent, you can see it's not, can't you? Instead, it glows dimly. So if the sun isn't up yet, how can that part of the moon be lit? What's illuminating it? The answer is in the name of this phenomenon, earth sign. An explanation of some basic viewing geometry can help explain what exactly we are talking about. When the moon is new, it's more or less between earth and the sun, with its unlit side facing us. As it moves along in its orbit, we see more and more of the lit part forming a crescent that grows wider, called a waxing crescent over time. हे वो शिव की अहंकार, वो चांद की चमत्कार, माथे की ओंगे नशा, गंगा है समाचार, गंगा है समाचार, माथे की ओंगे नशा, गंगा है समाचार, गंगा है समाचार। हे वो शिव की अहंकार, वो चांद की चमत्कार, वो चांद की चमत्कार। हे वो शिव की अहंकार, वो चांद की चमत्कार, वो चांद की चमत्कार। ओ है एक झलक और उन जुल्फों की पलक, हिंदुओं की देवी अबेया, चांद की वो पलक, चांद की वो पलक, हिंदुओं की देवी अबेया, चांद की वो पलक, चांद की वो पलक। ओ है एक झलक और उन जुल्फों की पलक, और उन जुल्फों की पलक। ओ है एक झलक और जो है जुल्फों की पलक, और उन जुल्फों की पलक। हे वो शिव की अहंकार, वो चांद की चमत्कार, माथे की ओंगे नशा, गंगा है समाचार, गंगा है समाचार। माथे की ओंगे नशा, गंगा है समाचार, गंगा है समाचार। हे वो शिव की अहंकार, वो चांद की चमत्कार, वो चांद की चमत्कार। हे वो शिव की अहंकार, वो चांद की चमत्कार, वो चांद की चमत्कार। Sometimes the shadow of Venus also forms in the moon, like the reflected light of planet Venus is also formed in the moon like the earth. Is this also the reason for the brightness of the moon? When Venus is at a close distance from the earth, what is the distance of Venus from the moon? The distance to the moon is approximately 384,000 kilometers, while the closest distance to Venus is approximately 38 million kilometers. In other words, the moon is about 100 times closer to Earth than Venus. Both the moon and Venus can cast shadows when they are in the sky. By October 22, 2008, the moon may be bright enough to almost read. How close is Venus to Earth? The nearest planet to Earth, Venus, is about 24 million, about 38 million kilometers away. But most of the time, the two planets are further apart. Mercury, the innermost planet, actually spends more time in proximity to Earth than Venus. What is the farthest distance of Venus from Earth? 162 million miles. According to NASA, Venus is the most distant planet at 162 million miles, 261 million kilometers. Venus takes 224.7 Earth days to revolve around the Sun. It comes closest to Earth approximately once every 584 days, when the planets come closer to each other. 16 November 2012. Does the moon become an intermediate body between Earth and Venus when Venus is near the Earth? What happens if moon and Venus appear together? Well, moon and Venus both are female planets and are friendly planets to each other. When they come together, it is a wonderful combination of two positive energies. They get together and activate the system and make some important aspects of life work really well. What does it mean when Venus is close to the moon? Initiative astrologer and healer Rachel Lang explains that the moon and Venus are astrologically speaking good friends. So when they conjoin, we tend to feel more positive about our relationship and experience a stronger desire to connect to one another. 27 February 2020. Is Venus and moon always together? No. Venus and the moon are not always together. While they do come into conjunction when they appear close together in the night sky. This is a periodic event. The moon has its orbit around Earth and Venus has its orbit around the Sun. As a result, their positions in the sky are continually changing. 16 January 2024. Actually, the orbit of Venus is different, like the Earth's orbit. Revolve around the Sun, but the rotation of Venus is opposite to that of Earth. But the moon rotates with the Earth as its center. That is why Venus sometimes behaves in a friendly manner with the moon. In fact, the moon is the nearest satellite of the Earth. That is the moon, Earth's nearest satellite. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight so bright. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight so bright. That is the moon, Earth's nearest satellite. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight is so bright. There is only one Earth satellite. In many shapes which illuminating light is spread. In many shapes which illuminating light is spread. Illuminating light is spread. There is only one Earth satellite. In many shapes which illuminating light is spread. In many shapes which illuminating light is spread. Illuminating light is spread. That is the moon, Earth's nearest satellite. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight is so bright. That is the moon, Earth's nearest satellite. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight is so bright. Full moon ever. Sometimes a glimpse of the new moon. Sometimes during the day. Sometimes a spectacular is seen at the night. Sometimes during the day. Sometimes a spectacular is seen at the night. Sometimes a spectacular is seen at the night. Full moon ever. Sometimes a glimpse of the new moon. Sometimes during the day. Sometimes a spectacular scene at night. Sometimes during the day. Sometimes a spectacular scene at night. Sometimes a spectacular scene at night. That is the moon, Earth's nearest satellite. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight is so bright. That is the moon, Earth's nearest satellite. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Wherever there is Earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight is so bright. By the way, satellite is also man-made and revolves around our Earth or the moon. But it is an artificial satellite, and the moon is a part of the Earth. It is natural satellite. What is the difference between natural satellite and artificial satellite? Man-made satellites which are moving around other planets are called artificial satellites and are different from natural satellites. While natural satellites are natural objects that orbit the other planets and our own Earth. Moon is the natural satellite of the Earth. Was this answer helpful? 9 January 2020. What is a satellite? Grade K4 NASA.government https www.nasa.government for kids and students. What is 7 February 2024? This article is for students grade K4. A satellite is an object that moves around a larger object. Earth is a satellite because it moves around the sun. The moon is a satellite because it moves around Earth. Earth and the moon are called natural satellites. But usually when someone says satellite, they are talking about a man-made satellite. Man-made satellites are machines made by people. These machines are launched into space and orbit Earth or another body in space. There are thousands of man-made satellites. Some take pictures of our planet, some take pictures of other planets, the sun and other objects. These pictures help scientists learn about Earth, the solar system and the universe. Other satellites send TV signals and phone calls around the world. Why are satellites important? Satellites fly high in the sky so they can see large areas of Earth at one time. Satellites also have a clear view of space. That's because they fly above Earth, clouds and air. Before satellites, TV signals didn't go very far. TV signals only travel in straight lines, so they would go off into space instead of following Earth's curve. Sometimes they would be blocked by mountains or tall buildings. Phone calls to faraway places were also a problem. It costs a lot and it is hard to set up telephone wires over long distances or underwater. With satellites, TV signals and phone calls can be sent up to a satellite. The satellite can then send them back down to different spots on Earth. What are the parts of a satellite? Satellites come in many shapes and sizes, but most have at least two parts in common: an antenna and a power source. The antenna is used to send and receive information. The power source can be a solar panel or battery. Solar panels make power by turning sunlight into electricity. That is the moon, our senior satellite. Wherever there is earth, there is also moon. Moonlight so bright. Wherever there is earth, there is also moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight so bright. That is the moon, Earth's nearest satellite. Wherever there is earth, there is also moon. Moonlight light is so bright. Wherever there is earth, there is always a moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight is so bright. There is only one Earth satellite. In many shapes which illuminating light is spread. In many shapes which illuminating light is spread. Illuminating light is spread. There is only one Earth is satellite. In many shapes which illuminating light is spread. In many shapes which illuminating light is spread. Illuminating light is spread. That is the moon, Earth's nearest satellite. Wherever there is earth, there is always a moon. Moonlight is so bright. Wherever there is earth, there is always a moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight is so bright. That is the moon, Earth's nearest satellite. Wherever there is earth, there is always a moon. Moonlight is so bright. Wherever there is earth, there is always a moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight is so bright. Full moon ever. Sometimes a glimpse of the new moon. Sometimes during the day. Sometimes a spectacular is seen at night. Sometimes during the day. Sometimes a spectacular is seen at night. Sometimes a spectacular is seen at night. Full moon ever. Sometimes a glimpse of the new moon. Sometimes during the day. Sometimes a spectacular scene at night. Sometimes during the day. Sometimes a spectacular scene at night. Sometimes a spectacular scene at night. That is the moon, Earth's nearest satellite. Wherever there is earth, there is always a moon. Moonlight is so bright. Wherever there is earth, there is always a moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight is so bright. That is the moon, Earth's nearest satellite. Wherever there is earth, there is always a moon. Moonlight is so bright. Wherever there is earth, there is always a moon. Moonlight is so bright. Moonlight is so bright. Moon is Earth's natural satellite. Planets up to the fourth from the Sun are terrestrial. Earth is the third terrestrial planet, and the most important thing is this: the initial introduction of natural satellites started from this third terrestrial planet, Earth itself. This is our only moon. By the way, the only planets in the solar system are from Mercury to Mars. It's not like that. Yes, but the location of terrestrial planets is from Mercury to Mars. Mars also has two natural satellites. What is the reason that Mercury and Venus do not have any natural satellite? Both planets are too close to the Sun, which means any moon at too great a distance from the planet would be in an unstable orbit and would be captured by the Sun. If they were too close to Mercury or Venus, they would be destroyed by tidal gravitational forces. 18 May 2015. Earth Sakar pH X Earth Sakar pH 5 likes 3 years ago. Mercury and Venus have no moon because of their close proximity to the Sun. Any moon orbiting around them is likely be swallowed by the mammoth gravitational pull of the mighty Sun. NASA Science.government, https science.nasa.government, solar system, moon's fact. Scientists were not sure if asteroids could hold moons in their orbit until the Galileo spacecraft flew past asteroid Ida in 1993. Images revealed a teeny moon, later named Dactyl. Astronomers have since located more than 450 moons orbiting the asteroid and trans-Neptunian objects. There are hundreds of moons in our solar system. Even asteroids have been found to have small companion moons of the terrestrial rocky planets of the inner solar system. Neither Mercury nor Venus have any moons at all. Which two planets do not have any natural satellite? World Atlas, https www.worldatlas.com, Environment, 9 May 2019. Mercury is the first planet from the Sun in the solar system, as well as the smallest planet among the 8 planets. Named after the Roman god Mercury, the planet also has the shortest orbital period around the Sun due to its closeness to the Sun. As stated earlier, the planet does not have any known natural satellite. Due to a number of reasons, just like Mercury, Venus also does not have any known natural satellite. Venus is the second innermost planet from the Sun in the solar system. The planet has an orbital period of about 243 days, although its orbital direction is unlike most of the other planets. In order to understand why the two do not have any natural satellite, it is crucial to have an understanding of how natural satellites are formed and why it is impossible for them to have any. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, there is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news, Ganga is in news. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news, Ganga is in news. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair. God of in those that spinach of the moon, that spinach of the moon. God of in those that spinach of the moon, that spinach of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news, Ganga is in news. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. Hey, that he go up Shiva. That miracle of the moon. That miracle of the moon. Hey, that he go up Shiva. That miracle of the moon. That miracle of the moon. Perhaps due to the strong force of the sun's gravitational field, Mercury and Venus do not have any natural satellites. Do not any meteorite asteroids revolve around the sun in the near distance between Mercury and Venus? Do not any meteorite asteroid collide with Mercury and Venus? Yes, asteroids have hit Mercury and Venus. The first impact on Mercury was confirmed in 2004 when the Messenger spacecraft observed a crater that was caused by an asteroid impact. The crater is approximately 10 kilometers wide and is located in the Calories Basin 23 July 2023. How come no natural satellite have formed even after the collision of Mercury and Venus with asteroids? Yes, asteroids have collided with Mercury and Venus. The first confirmed impact on Mercury was in 2004 when the Messenger spacecraft observation a crater that was caused by an asteroid impact. The crater is about 10 kilometers wide and it is located in the Calories Basin 23 July 2023. Why are there no satellites on Mercury? Moons or natural satellites are either created during the creation of the planet solar system or are captured. Mercury doesn't have a gravitational pull, power pull enough to hold anything else in orbit around itself. 3 February 2017. Why is there no satellite to Venus? An alternative explanation for the lack of satellites is the effect of strong solar tides, which can establish large satellites orbiting the inner terrestrial planets. The orbital space of Venus has a dust ring cloud. Can Venus hold a moon? Yes, Venus is also close to the Sun, but its gravity is strong enough to be able to hold a moon, and yet it doesn't have one. 20 January 2017. Why do the outer planets have more moons than the inner? Astronomy magazine, https www.astronomy.com science. Why do the out 24 September 2012 the giant planets formed in a drastically different environment from the terrestrial planets. It was much colder in the outer solar system, so water was ice. But in the region near where Earth formed, water turned to steam. Water is one of the most common chemical compounds and its ice form accretes much more easily. This encouraged the outer planets to grow massive. The larger volume of space and lower gravity of the Sun in the giant planet region allowed Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune to form solar systems in miniature. We think each of them pulled in lots of material and had a disk of gas, dust and ice surrounding it during formation. Any dust and ice not incorporated into the planet itself would have coalesced into the regular moons we see today around the giant planets. These satellites are in nearly circular orbit near the equators of their host planets, such as the four Galilean satellites around Jupiter and Titan around Saturn, which are all composed of large fractions of ice. Because the giant planets gravitationally dominate a very large area, they also can efficiently capture passing objects as moons, which we call irregular satellites. These irregular moons are relatively small and have orbits with large inclinations. Eccentricities and semi-major stress. In contrast, the terrestrial planets formed much closer to the sun with much less material around them. They grew slowly by accreting many small rocky planetesimals and never grew massive enough to capture a disk of gas and dust. Earth's moon probably formed through a direct collision. Any large object striking a planet would have thrown material of the world into orbit, allowing it to coalesce into a moon. Mars moons are still a bit of mystery. They could result from a giant collision or they could be captured asteroids. Mercury and Venus might have had moons in the past, but their close proximity to Sun means most satellite orbits around the planets would be unstable over the solar system age. Scott Shepard Carnegie Institution of Washington DC. Mercury and Venus had natural satellites earlier. They do not exist today, or whether Venus will ever have natural satellites or not. But Earth's moon has been present since the beginning of the solar system. It is like the moon shines and the earth becomes full of light. The moon shines and earth is light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. The moon is shines and the earth is light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. The shadow of the earth creates a wonderful sight. Where the moon shifted, the moon became many faces. Where the moon shifted, the moon became many faces. The shadow of the earth creates a wonderful sight. Where the moon shifted, the moon became many faces. Where the moon sit with the moon became many faces. The moon is science and the earth is light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. The moon is science and the earth is light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. The sun is light on the earth and in the moon. Moon in the earth is shadow, so lunar eclipse also happen. Moon in the earth is shadow, so lunar eclipse also happen. The sun is light on the earth and in the moon. Moon in the earth is shadow, so lunar eclipse also happen. Moon in the earth is shadow, so lunar eclipse also happen. The moon is science and the earth is light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. The moon is science and the earth is light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. By the way, no matter how many faces the moon has, why not? But the moon spreads moonlight only in the shadow of the earth. It is not that moonlight is not formed in the presence of the sun. It is made, but where will the sign of moonlight be seen in broad daylight? Well, the moonlight appears beautifully on the earth only in the shadow of the earth. There is one more truth. Friends, do you know that we are not the only ones who enjoy the night by living in the shadow of the earth? The moon itself enjoys the earth's shadow. That's why the moon is so many forms. But a lunar eclipse occurs only when the moon dips into the earth's shadow to hide from the sun. How long does a lunar eclipse last? Unlike solar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse lasts a few hours, with totality itself usually averaging anywhere from about 30 minutes to over an hour. This is due to the large relative size of Earth over the moon. The moon's diameter is only about 2150 miles, therefore casting a large umbral shadow on the moon. Eclipses. NASA Science.Government, HTTPS Science.NASA.Government. Moon eclipses anywhere from our 4 to 7 times a year. Our Earth, Moon and Sun line up just right to create the cosmic scale shadow, so known as an eclipse. The Moon's orbit around Earth is tilted relative to Earth's orbit around the Sun. This tilt is the reason why we have occasional eclipses instead of eclipses every month. There are two types of eclipses, lunar and solar. During a lunar eclipse, Earth's shadow obscures the moon. During a solar eclipse, the moon blocks the sun from view. Lunar eclipses. Lunar eclipses occur at the full moon phase when Earth is positioned precisely between the moon and sun. Earth's shadow falls upon the surface of the moon, dimming it and sometimes turning the lunar surface a striking red over the course of a few hours. Each lunar eclipse is visible from half of Earth. Total lunar eclipse. The moon moves into the inner part of Earth's shadow or the umbra. Some of the sunlight passing through Earth's atmosphere reaches the moon's surface, lighting it dimly. Colors with shorter wavelengths, the blues and violets, scatter more easily than colors with longer wavelengths like red and orange. Because these longer wavelengths make it through Earth's atmosphere and the shorter wavelengths have scattered away. The moon appears orangish or reddish during a lunar eclipse. The more dust or clouds in Earth's atmosphere during the eclipse, the redder the moon appears. Partial lunar eclipse. An imperfect alignment of sun, earth and moon results in the moon passing through only part of Earth's umbra. The shadow grows and then recedes without ever entirely covering the moon. Penumbral eclipse. If you don't know this one is happening, you might miss it. The moon travels through Earth's penumbra or the faint outer part of its shadow. The moon dims so slightly that it can be difficult to notice. The moon is shines and earthly light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. The moon is shines and the earthly light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. The shadow of the earth create a wonderful sight. Where the moon shifted, the moon became many faces. Where the moon shifted, the moon became many faces. The shadow of the earth create a wonderful sight. Where the moon shifted, the moon became many faces. Where the moon shifted, the moon became many faces. The moon shines and the earth light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. The moon shines and the earth light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. The sun light on the earth and in the moon. Moon in the earth's shadow, so lunar eclipse also happened. Moon in the earth's shadow, so lunar eclipse also happened. The sun in light on the earth and in the moon. Moon in the earth is shadow, so lunar eclipse also happened. Moon in the earth is shadow, so lunar eclipse also happened. The moon is science and the earth light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. The moon is science and the earth light. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. Moon as the moonlight spread in the shadow of the earth. The moon shines and the earth is light, meaning moonlight spreads across the earth. How is it possible for one body to shine and for another body to shine? How does the bright face of the moon spread moonlight across the earth? How does moonlight reach the earth? Moonlight is made by sunlight traveling the 8 light minutes to the moon. Then the reflected sunlight is moonlight, which only has to travel 1.3 light seconds to get to the earth. Both forms of light are traveling at the same speed. 24 January 2018. What is the space between earth and the moon called translunar space? Is a region of lunar transfer orbit between the moon and earth. Cislunar space is a region outside of earth that includes lunar orbit, the moon's orbital space around earth and the Lagrange point. Is moon time slower than earth? Time passes about 0.66 parts per billion faster on the moon than on earth due to not being in as strong a gravity field. 14 September 2020. What is the closest place to the moon and earth? Mount Chimborazo. Answer and explanation. The point on earth that is closest to the moon is Mount Chimborazo. Although many would suspect that Mount Everest is the point, this mountain is only the tallest above sea level. Earth illuminates the night side of the moon. NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL.government, HTTPS www.jpl.nasa.government, Edu event 2020 by 11 EA. How does the bright face of the moon spread moonlight across the earth? From www.jpl.nasa.government 9 November 2020. You may have marveled at how brightly a full moon can light up a nighttime landscape, but have you noticed how Earth can illuminate the night side of the moon? This eerily beautiful glow is called earth shine. It's sunlight that's been reflected off of earth, then bounce off the moon and back to our eyes. Earth shine is easiest to observe in the few days before and after a new moon, when the part of the moon that's directly lit by the sun appears as a slim crescent. In November, the best times to see the moon illuminated by Earth's glow are before dawn, November 9 to 12, after sunset, November 17 to 20, for an added treat on November 12, spot the planet Venus just below the illuminated moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. Hey, that ego of Shiva. That miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair. God of in those that spins of the moon. That spinach of the moon, God of in those. That spinach of the moon, that spinach of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. Hey, that ego of Shiva. That miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Can moonlight reflect from the earth and illuminate the moon as well? Can light be reflected and reflected from reflected light? Light rays can be reflected multiple times. Can reflected light be reflected? Reflected light can be reflected again. Justify the statement. All the reflected light follows laws of reflection, saying that the angle of incidence is equal to angle to reflection when light rays falling on the plane surface. Explanation: the statement saying reflected light can be reflected again is true because the light can be reflected until it loses its all energy. 10 December 2017. Can reflected light be reflected again? True or false? Answer: explanation: reflected light can be reflected again. This method is called multiple reflection. By using this method, periscope, kaleidoscope, etc. works. 3 March 2024. Reflection physics. Wikipedia. HTTPS in Wikipedia.organization wiki. Reflection physics. Reflection is the change in direction of a wave front at an interface between two different media so that the wave front returns into the medium from which it originated. Common examples include the reflection of light, sound and water waves. The law of reflection says that for specular reflection, for example at a mirror, the angle at which the wave is incident on the surface equals the angle at which it is reflected. In acoustic, reflection causes echoes and is used in sonar. In geology, it is important in the study of seismic waves. Reflection is observed with surface waves in bodies of water. Reflection is observed with many types of electromagnetic waves. Besides visible light, reflection of VHF and higher frequencies is important for radio transmission and for radar. Even hard X-rays and gamma rays can be reflected at shallow angles with special grazing mirrors. Reflection means angles reflection of light, and angles reflection also results in the same angles reflection, meaning the moonlight that falls on the earth from the moon is a reflection, and even in the moonlight the moon finds its reflection again and again, meaning the smiling moon receives light from the sun and the earth also receives light. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day, at night with twinkling stars, even with the sun during the day, even with the sun during the day, at night with twinkling stars, even with the sun during the day, even with the sun during the day. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day, the laughing moon at night as well as during the day, that laugh of the moon, same side forever, the other side of the moon, unseen always for us, unseen always for us, the other side of the moon, unseen always for us, unseen always for us, that laugh of the moon, same side forever, that laugh of the moon, same side forever. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day, at night with twinkling stars, even with the sun during the day, even with the sun during the day, at night with twinkling stars, even with the sun during the day, even with the sun during the day. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day, the laughing moon at night as well as during the day. The moon is the dance, rotation of the earth, same side while rotating, never the other side, never the other side, same side while rotating, never the other side, never the other side. The moon is the dance rotation of the earth. The moon is the dance rotation of the earth. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. At night with twinkling stars, even with the sun during the day. Even with the sun during the day. At night with twinkling stars, even with the sun during the day. Even with the sun during the day. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. You already know, friend, those two moons of Mars, Phobos, Deimos, have always revolved around Mars with the same side, facing them since the beginning of the solar system. Earth's moon also behaves the same way. Why does the moon always revolve around the earth with the same side facing the same side? Hence, as moon's revolution period around the earth is equal to the rotation period of the moon about its axis. As a result, the same side of the moon is visible. The reason we always see the same side of the moon, BBC Sky at Night magazine, https www.skyatnightmagazine.com space science 24 January 2024. The reason we always see the same side of the moon explained. Why does the same side of the moon always face earth? From our perspective on earth, we always see the same side of the moon. And we know this because if we look at the moon on a regular basis, its phases may change, but we always see the same craters and other features. The distinctive pattern of bright highland and dark lunar maria on the moon has been turned towards us for millennia, visible to every human who has ever stood on earth. But why do we only see this one side of the moon? We know that earth spins about its axis. So why don't we get to see the full lunar surface as our moon does the same? The moon spins. So why don't we see different sides of it? In simple terms, the moon rotates one every 27.3 days, which is the same amount of time it takes for the moon to orbit our planet. The result, on earth we always see the same side of the moon. Although this is not strictly true, either we do get to see slightly more of the moon than half of the moon's surface due to a oblong effect known as lunar libration. If the moon were to spin faster or slower than once per orbit, we would see all of it. In the proper astronomical parlance, we say that the moon is tidally locked to earth. You may also come across the expression synchronous rotation, which means the same thing. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. At night too with twinkling star, even with the sun during the day, even with the sun during the day. At night too with twinkling star, even with the sun during the day, even with the sun during the day. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. The till of the moon, same side forever. The other side of the moon, unseen always for us, unseen always for us. The other side of the moon, unseen always for us, unseen always for us. The till of the moon, same side forever. The till of the moon, same side forever. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. At night with twinkling stars, even with the sun during the day, even with the sun during the day. At night with twinkling stars, even with the sun during the day, even with the sun during the day. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. The moon is the dance, rotation of the earth, same side while rotating, never the other side, never the other side, same side while rotating, never the other side, never the other side. The moon is the dance, rotation of the earth. The moon is the dance, rotation of the earth. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. At night with twinkling stars, even with the sun during the day, even with the sun during the day. At night with twinkling stars, even with the sun during the day, even with the sun during the day. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. The laughing moon at night as well as during the day. That smiling moon is visible both at night and during the day, which is called the moment of full moon and moment of new moon. This is surprising, friends, when sunlight means time of day. Apart from clouds, nothing else is visible in the sky. At that moment of the day, the moon appears bright but dim. It is said that the distance of the moon is 3,084,400 kilometers. Hence, the moon is visible even in daylight. But the question that arises here is, the moon keeps showing the same side on earth for centuries. So when the moment of new moon occurs, which side of the moon does the sun's rays touch and get reflected? The moon is said to be new when it is in the same general direction in the sky as the sun position A. Here, its illuminated bright side is turned away from us and its dark side is turned toward us. You might say that the sun is shining on the wrong side of the moon from our perspective. Does the sun touch the dark side of the moon? The dark side of the moon refers to the other hemisphere facing away from the earth. To be precise, the moon is not darker than any other surface region. The sunlight reaches equally on all sides or regions of the moon. 5 September 2022. Why do eclipse happen? NASA science.government, HTTPS science.nasa.government. Eclipse geometry: when the moment of new moon occurs, which side of the moon does the sun's rays touch and get reflected? From science.nasa.government. Eclipses occur on our planet when the sun, moon and earth line up. Exactly how they align determines what kind of eclipse we see. A solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between the sun and earth, blocking at least some of the sun and casting a shadow on earth. Solar eclipses only occur during the new moon, when the moon and sun are aligned on the same side of earth. In other words, when the moon is in the daytime sky. Although a new moon happens about once a month, solar eclipses do not. That's because the moon does not orbit in the same plane that the sun and earth are in, known as the ecliptic plane. Instead, the moon's orbit around earth is tilted or inclined by about 5 degrees. During the new moon, the moon usually passes below or above the sun and its shadow misses earth. There are only 2 times a year called eclipse season, when the new moon crosses the earth sun ecliptic plane and provides opportunities for solar eclipse. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon. There is intoxication on the forehead. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. There is intoxication on the forehead. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair. God of in those that spin of the moon, that spinach of the moon. God of in those that spinach of the moon, that spinach of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon. There is intoxication on the forehead. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. There is intoxication on the forehead. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. This means that when it is the time of new moon, the opposite side of the moon touches the sun's rays, and when a solar eclipse occurs, the sun's rays fall on the opposite side of the moon and are reflected. How far will the reflected light of the moon spread at the time of new moon or eclipse? Does a solar eclipse happen during a new moon? Eclipses, NASA science. Solar eclipses happen only at the new moon phase, when the moon is between earth and the sun. During a solar eclipse, the moon casts a shadow on earth and blocks or partially blocks out our view of the sun. How much light is reflected of the moon? Moonlight, NASA science. Overall, only about 1/10 of the sunlight that hits the moon is reflected back into space. This ratio of reflected light is called albedo. For comparison, our watery planet bounces about 3/10 of incoming rays back into space. Laser beams reflected between Earth and Moon. Boost. NASA.government. https www.nasa.government. Missions. Laser beams reflected 10 August 2020. Dozens of times over the last decade, NASA scientists have launched laser beams at a reflector the size of a paperback novel, about 240,000 miles, 385,000 kilometers away from Earth. They announced today, in collaboration with their French colleagues, that they received signal back for the first time. An encouraging result. That could enhance laser experiments used to study the physics of the universe. The reflector NASA scientists aimed for is mounted on the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter (LRO), a spacecraft that has been studying the moon from its orbit since 2009. One reason engineers placed the reflector on LRO was so it could serve as a pristine target to help test the reflecting power of panels left on the moon's surface about 50 years ago. These older reflectors are returning a weak signal, which is making it harder to use them for science. Scientists have been using reflectors on the moon since the Apollo era to learn more about our nearest neighbor. It's a fairly straightforward experiment. Aim a beam of light at the reflector and clock the amount of time it takes for the light to come back. Decades of making this one measurement has led 10 major discoveries. One of the biggest revelations is that the Earth and Moon are slowly drifting apart at the rate that fingernails grow, or 1.5 inches 3.8 centimeters per year. This widening gap is the result of gravitational interactions between the two bodies. Now that we have been collecting data for 50 years, we can see trends that we wouldn't have been able to see otherwise, said Erwan Mazarico, a planetary scientist from NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland, who coordinated the LRO experiment that was described on August 7 in the journal Earth, Planets and Space. Laser ranking science is a long game, Mazarico said, but if scientists are to continue using the surface panels for into the future, they need figure out why some of them are returning only a tenth of the expected signal. Even though the earth always sees only one side of the moon, the sun illuminates both sides of the moon from time to time. What is the matter? There is always mention of the moon in our tongue. Who is that moon? The moon is in the tongue. Who is it that? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? The moon is in the tongue. Who is it that? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? Says is a belt of asteroids like solar system, meteor, planet, satellite, like solar system, meteor, planet, satellite. Says is a belt of asteroids like solar system, meteor, planet, satellite, like solar system, meteor, planet, satellite. The moon is in the tongue. Who is it that? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? The moon is in the tongue. Who is it that? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? Where was the moon? Where did it come from? Based on the earth, is it from relative? Based on the earth, is it from relative? Where was the moon? Where did it come from? Based on the earth, is it from relative? Based on the earth, is it from relative? The moon is in the tongue. Who is it there? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? The moon is in the tongue. Who is it there? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? Mars is the nearest planet to Earth. It is said that Mars is the closest relative of Earth in the entire solar system. Like Mars has two moons, Phobos, Deimos, Earth also has a natural satellite, and that is the moon. The two natural satellites of Mars are the asteroid Phobos, Deimos. Is this Earth's moon also an asteroid? Well, where did this asteroid come from in the solar system? Asteroid fact, NASA science, NASA science.government, https science.nasa.government, solar system asteroid facts. Asteroids, sometimes called minor planets, are rocky remnants left over from the early formation of our solar system about 4.6 billion years ago. The current known asteroid count is most of this ancient space rubble can be found orbiting our solar sun between Mars and Jupiter within the main asteroid belt. Asteroids range in size from Vesta, the largest at about 3 to 9 miles, 530 kilometers in diameter, to bodies that are less than 33 feet 10 meters across. The total mass of all the asteroids combined is less than that of Earth moon. Most asteroids are irregularly shaped, though a few are nearly spherical, and they are often pitted or cratered. As they revolve around the sun in elliptical orbit, the asteroids also rotate, sometimes quite erratically, tumbling as they go. More than 150 asteroids are known to have a small companion moon. Some have two moons. There are also binary double asteroids in which two rocky bodies of roughly equal size orbit each other, as well as triple asteroid system. Asteroid classification. Main asteroid belt. The majority of known asteroids orbit within the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, generally with not very elongated orbit. The belt is estimated to contain between 1.1 and 1.9 million asteroids larger than 1 kilometer, 0.6 miles in diameter, and millions of smaller ones. Early in the history of the solar system, the gravity of newly formed Jupiter brought an end to the formation of planetary bodies in this region and caused the small bodies to collide with one another, fragmenting them into the asteroids we observe today. Trojans. These asteroids share an orbit with a larger planet but do not collide with it because they gather around two special places in the orbit called the L4 and L5 Lagrangian points. There the gravitational pull from the sun and the planet are balanced by a Trojan's tendency to otherwise fly out of orbit. The Jupiter Trojans from the most significant population of Trojan asteroids. It is thought that they are as numerous as the asteroids in the asteroid belt. There are Mars and Neptune Trojans, and NASA announced the discovery of an Earth Trojan in 2011 near Earth asteroid. These objects have orbits that pass close by that of Earth. Asteroids that actually cross Earth's orbital path are known as Earth crossers. The moon is in the tank. Who is it there? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? The moon is in the tank. Who is it there? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? Says is a belt of asteroids like solar system, meteor, planet, satellite. Like solar system, meteor, planet, satellite. Says is a belt of asteroids like solar system, meteor, planet, satellite. Like solar system, meteor, planet, satellite. The moon is in the tank. Who is it there? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? The moon is in the tank. Who is it there? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? Where was the moon? Where did it come from? Based on the earth, is it from relative? Based on the earth, is it from relative? Where was the moon? Where did it come from? Based on the earth, is it from relative? Based on the earth, is it from relative? The moon is in the tank. Who is it there? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? The moon is in the tank. Who is it there? Is that asteroid or any planet? Is that asteroid or any planet? The moon is here in the tongues of all of us on earth. After all, who is that moon? Moon horoscope, according to NASA scientists, formed due to Earth's collision with the near-Earth planet Theia 4.5 billion years ago. NASA scientists had announced in the year 2011 Earth and Mars are planets in the terrestrial zone of the solar system but are Trojan. Was Theia also a Trojan 4.5 billion years ago? Giant impact hypothesis, Wikipedia, https en.wikipedia.organization, wiki, giant impact hypothesis. The giant impact hypothesis, sometimes called the big splash or the Theia impact, is an astrogeology hypothesis for the formation of the moon, first proposed in 1946 by Canadian geologist Reginald Daly. The hypothesis suggests that the early Earth collided with a Mars-sized dwarf planet of the same orbit approximately 4.5 billion years ago in the early Hadean eon, about 20 to 100 million years after the solar system coalesced, and the ejecta of the impact event later accreted to form the moon. The impactor planet is sometimes called Theia, named after the mythical Greek Titan who was the mother of Selene, the goddess of the moon. Analysis of lunar rocks published in a 2016 report suggests that the impact might have been a direct hit, causing a fragmentation and through thorough mixing of both planet bodies. The giant impact hypothesis is currently the favored hypothesis for lunar formation among astronomers. Evidence that supports this hypothesis include the moon's orbit has a similar orientation to Earth's rotation. The stable isotope ratio of lunar and terrestrial rocks, the identical, implying a common origin. The Earth-Moon system contains an anomalously high angular momentum, meaning the momentum contained in Earth's rotation, the Moon's rotation, and the Moon revolving around Earth is significantly higher than the other terrestrial planets. A giant impact might have supplied this excess momentum. Moon samples indicate that the Moon was once molten to a substantial but unknown depth. This might have required much more energy than predicted to be available from the accretion of a celestial body of the Moon's size and mass. An extremely energetic process such as a giant impact could provide this energy. The Moon has a relatively small iron core which gives it a lower density than Earth. Computer models of a giant impact of a Mars-sized body with Earth indicate the impactor's core would likely penetrate deep into Earth and fuse with its own core. This would leave the Moon, which was formed from the ejecta of lighter crust and metal fragments that went beyond the Rorschach limit and were not pulled back by gravity to refuse with proto-Earth with less remaining metallic iron than other planetary bodies. The Moon is depleted in volatile elements compared to Earth, vaporizing at comparably lower temperatures. They could be lost in a high energy event with the Moon's smaller gravity unable to recapture them while Earth did. There is evidence in other star systems of similar collisions resulting in debris disks. Giant collisions are consistent with the leading theory of the formation of the solar system. However, several questions remain concerning the best current model of the giant impact hypothesis. The energy of such a giant impact is predicted to have heated Earth to produce a global magma ocean, and evidence of the resultant planetary differentiation of the heavier material sinking into Earth's mantle has been documented. However, there is no self-consistent model that starts with the giant impact event and follows the evolution of the debris into a single moon. Other remaining questions include when the moon lost its share of volatile elements and why Venus, which experienced giant impacts during its formation, citation needed, does not host a similar moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon. There is intoxication underneath the forehead. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. There is intoxication underneath the forehead. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair. God of in those that spins of the moon, that spinach of the moon. God of in those that spinach of the moon, that spinach of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon. There is intoxication on the forehead. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. There is intoxication on the forehead. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. According to the announcement of NASA scientists, the two terrestrial planets, Earth and Mars, occupying third and fourth place in the solar system are Trojans. We have learned about planets, asteroids and satellites in the solar system. Why are Earth and Mars Trojans? The origin of the Mars Trojans is not well understood. One theory suggests that they were primitive bodies left over from the formation of Mars that were captured in its Lagrangian point during the formation of the solar system. However, spectral studies of Mars Trojans indicate that this may not be the case. Earth Trojan Wikipedia https en.wikipedia.organization wiki Earth Trojan. The hypothesis states that the moon formed after Earth and Theia collided, showering material from both planets into space. Is the moon Trojan? So the moon can't have permanent Trojan, but given that it could have dust in the Kardalevsky clouds, and that we wouldn't expect to see an object there even up to a meter in diameter. It could have temporary Trojan. 5 May 2015. Helen, NASA Science.Government, HTTPS Science.NASA.Government. Saturn moon Helen was discovered on March 1, 1980 during the Earth ring plane crossing by J. Lakachuk and others. Helen, a small and faint moon of Saturn, is referred to as a Trojan moon because it shares its orbit with another moon, Dione, a moon hundreds of times larger than Helen. This complex orbital arrangement is held steady by gravity. Helen is located at a Lagrange point where it feels the tug of gravity equally from distant Saturn and nearby Dione. For this reason, soon after it was discovered in 1980, it was called Dione B. This irregularly shaped moon has a mean radius of 10.9 miles, 17.6 kilometers, with dimensions 22 into 19 into 18.6 miles, 36 into 32 into 30 kilometers. It orbits 234,505 miles, 377,400 kilometers away from Saturn, taking 2.7 Earth days to complete one orbit. Even if our Earth moon does not conduct an orbiter race with any other larger body, but the moon definitely races the Earth orbiter every 27 days. Ganymede is the largest satellite in the solar system. Our moon is the largest natural satellite in the solar system according to the size of our Earth. Of the entire solar system, largest natural satellite, that is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? That is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? Of the entire solar system, largest natural satellite. Of the entire solar system, largest natural satellite, that is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? It is the planet where more than 100 satellites. Earth only one bright moon ceremony, bright moon ceremony. Earth only one bright moon ceremony, bright moon ceremony. It is the planet where more than 100 satellites. It is the planet where more than 100 satellites. Earth's only one bright moon ceremony, bright moon ceremony of the entire solar system, largest natural satellite, that is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? That is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? Of the entire solar system, largest natural satellite. Of the entire solar system, largest natural satellite, that is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? How many natural satellites are there in the entire solar system? In the solar system, there are at least 319 known satellites. Most of those moons belong to Saturn, which has a total of 146 moons. Jupiter has the second most moons. Out of 319 known satellites of the solar system, how many natural satellites are known as asteroids? Besides planets and dwarf planets, objects within our solar system known to have natural satellites are 76 in the asteroid belt, 5 with 2 each, 4 Jupiter Trojans, 39 near Earth objects, 2 with 2 satellites each, and 14 Mars cruisers. There are also 84 known natural satellites of trans-Neptunian objects. Moon facts: NASA science.government, https science.nasa.government, solar system, moon facts. Moon, also called natural satellites, come in many shapes, sizes and types. They are generally solid bodies and few have atmospheres. Most planetary moons probably formed out the disks of gas and dust circulating around planets in the early solar system. There are hundreds of moons in our solar system. Even asteroids have been found to have small companion moons of the terrestrial rocky planets of the inner solar system. Neither Mercury nor Venus have any moons at all. Earth has one and Mars has its 2 small moons. In the outer solar system, the gas giants Jupiter and Saturn and the ice giants Uranus and Neptune have dozens of moons. As these planets grew in the early solar system, they were able to capture smaller objects with their large gravitational fields. Moons of the lunar inner solar system. Earth's moon probably formed when a large body about the size of Mars collided with Earth, ejecting a lot of material from our planet into orbit. Debris from the early Earth and the impacting body accumulated to form the moon approximately 4.5 billion years ago. The age of the oldest collected lunar rocks. 12 American astronauts landed on the moon during NASA's Apollo program from 1969 to 1972, studying the moon and bringing back rock samples. Usually the term moon brings to mind a spherical object like Earth's moon. The two moons of Mars, Phobos and Deimos, are different while both have nearly circular orbits and travel close to the plane of the planet's equator. They are lumpy and dark. Phobos is slowly drawing closer to Mars and could crash into the planet in 40 or 50 million years, or the planet's gravity might break Phobos apart, creating a thin ring around Mars. More moons. Scientists were not sure if asteroids could hold moons in their orbits until the Galileo spacecraft flew past asteroid Ida in 1993. Images revealed a teeny moon later named Tactile. Astronomers have since located more than 450 moons orbiting the asteroids and trans-Neptunian objects. Of the entire solar system, largest natural satellite, that is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? That is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? Of the entire solar system, largest natural satellite. Of the entire solar system, largest natural satellite. That is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? It is the planet where more than 100 satellites. Earth's only one bright moon ceremony. Bright moon ceremony. Earth's only one bright moon ceremony. Bright moon ceremony. It is the planet where more than 100 satellites. It is the planet where more than 100 satellites. Earth's only one bright moon ceremony. Bright moon ceremony of the interstellar system, largest natural satellite. That is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? That is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? Of the entire solar system, largest natural satellite. Of the entire solar system, largest natural satellite. That is the moon. Who is the pride of the earth? Who is the pride of the earth? Earth's moon is the largest natural satellite in the solar system in terms of planet size. Well, friends, according to NASA scientists, if one body orbits another body, then the orbiting body actually becomes a natural satellite. According to this, the 8 planets are also natural satellites because they revolve around the sun at the center. By the way, today's invention of NASA, the stars are also revolving in a circle, taking the whole group together, keeping the Milky Way in the center. But according to NASA, scientists, stars or sun can't be called natural satellites. Why is the sun not a natural satellite? Is the sun a natural satellite? Stars, planets and satellites are different celestial bodies. Sun is a star. Jupiter and Saturn are planets. The Moon is a satellite for April 2021. Why is the Sun not a satellite? Typically, the term satellite refers to a man-made machine that is launched into space and revolves around the Earth or another body in space. The Sun and the solar system revolve around the center of the galaxy, but the Sun is not a satellite of anything. 26 October 2022. Because the Sun is revolving around the Milky Way along with its solar system, therefore the Sun can't be called a natural satellite. Can the Milky Way be called a body? Is a galaxy a solid body? A galaxy is a bit difficult to define because it is not a single coherent solid object. Instead, the galaxy is considered to be the sum of all the individual objects, stars, planets, nebulae, dust particles, etc., that are bound to each other by gravity. If the Milky Way can't be a pit carrying all the personal items, then in the future, through what kind of gravitational pull is the Milky Way pulling some other universe toward itself? Which universe will collide with Milky Way in the future? Andromeda Milky Way collision. Our Milky Way galaxy is destined to collide with our closest larger neighbor, the Andromeda galaxy, in about 5 billion years. NASA's Hubble shows Milky Way is destined for head-on. NASA science.government, https science.nasa.government, missions. NASA's Hubble shows 20 November 2023. NASA astronomers announced Thursday they can now predict with certainty the next major cosmic event to affect our galaxy. Sun and solar system, the titanic collision of our Milky Way galaxy with the neighboring Andromeda galaxy. The solution came through painstaking NASA Hubble Space Telescope measurements of the motion of Andromeda, which also is known as M31. The galaxy is now 2.5 million light year away, but it is inexorably falling toward the Milky Way under the mutual pull of gravity between the two galaxies and the invisible dark matter that surrounds them, both to make matters more complicated. M31's small companion, the Triangulum galaxy M33, will join in the collision and perhaps later merge with the M31 by M Milky Way pair. There is a small chance that M33 will hit the Milky Way first. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair. God of in those that spinach of the moon, that spinach of the moon. God of in those that spinach of the moon, that spinach of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon. There is intoxication on the forehead. Ganga is in you. Ganga is in you. There is intoxication on the forehead. Ganga is in you. Ganga is in you. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. So, what does natural satellite mean? If Helen remains under the gravitational pull of Saturn, it can also remain under the gravitational pull of Dion's satellite. So that means our Milky Way is also a Trojan, because the Milky Way Andromeda is also in the gravitational pull of M31 and is also trapped in the gravitational pull of M33. Is the Milky Way Trojan's universe? What are the Trojan asteroids? We asked a NASA scientist. NASA.government, HTTPS www.nasa.government, solar system. What are the Trojan? 30 September 2021. What are the Trojan asteroids? We asked a NASA scientist. Episode 8. What are the Trojan asteroids? These mysterious space rocks have been gravitationally trapped in Jupiter's orbit around the Sun for billions of years and hold clues to the formation of our solar system. NASA's Lucy mission will be the first spacecraft to study these ancient relics of close. Lucy scientist Audrey Martin at Northern Arizona University has the details. Let's begin by going back over 4 billion years, when the newly formed solar system consisted of trillions of teeny little rocky and icy objects. Many of these objects came together to form the planets. The majority of the others were scattered into the distant reaches of our solar system and beyond, but not all of them. Some of these leftover space rocks are pristine asteroids that now orbit with Jupiter in two huge swarms, leading and trailing the planet. They are known as the Trojan asteroids. They are really mysterious, and we think that they come from the outer solar system. They are also special in terms of understanding the evolution of the solar system because they have remained gravitationally stable for over billions of years. Astronomers have only been able to study these distant and enigmatic small bodies from Earth, but all of that is about to change. NASA's Lucy mission will soon embark on a 12-year journey to visit these primitive asteroids. This will be the first time that we are able to see this object up close. So, what are the Trojan asteroids? They are asteroids that orbit with Jupiter around the Sun that ultimately hold the clues to the formation of our solar system. Learn more about the Lucy mission. https www.nasa.government/Lucy. End video transcript, full episode list, full YouTube playlist. Today we see the Milky Way and know. Let's look at the M31 universe and know it. We also know about the M33 universe. But think friends, that's our moon. For centuries, Mother used to hold that moon with sandalwood in one finger and make it shine on our forehead. Mother sees on see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought it into her sunset, sky moon. Mother brought it into her sunset. Mother sees on see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought it her into sunset, sky moon. Mother brought it into her sunset. That moon in the sky, Mother so bright in the sun. The light of it the moon, Mother she thinking sunny too. The light of it the moon, Mother thinking sunny too. That moon in the sky, Mother is so bright in the sun. The light of it the moon, Mother thinking sunny too. The light of the moon, Mother thinking sunny too. Mother sees on see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought into her sunset, sky moon. Mother brought it into her sunset. Mother sees on see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought it into her sunset, sky moon. Mother brought it into her sunset. Mother, she hearty beating sunny like the moon. That white color, Mother's expectation. That white color, Mother's expectation. Mother, she hearty beating sunny like the moon. That white color, Mother's expectation. That white color, Mother's expectation. Mother sees on see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought it into her sunset, sky moon. Mother brought it into her sunset. Mother sees on see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought it into her sunset, sky moon. Mother brought it into her sunset. Friends, does the sun understand what his mother says? Mother decorates the moon on her son's forehead, thinking that may a mother-son's vision of tomorrow be as bright as the moon? Why does the moon look so bright in the sky? The moon gets its light from the sun in the same way that the sun illuminates earth. The moon reflects the sun's light, making it appear bright in our sky. Moonlight. NASA science.government, https science.nasa.government. Moonlight. The moon does not make its own light. Moonlight is actually reflected sunlight. At any moment, half of the moon is brightly sunlit. This is the day side. The other half is in the dark. This is the night side. Throughout the month, as the moon rotates and orbits, day and night occur on different parts of its surface, just like on Earth. Unlike our planet, though the moon takes a whole month to complete one rotation. This means that lunar day and night are each about 2 Earth weeks long. The view from our home. We always see the same face of the moon from Earth, the lunar near side. Each month, as day and night sweep across the lunar near side, the sunlit part of our view takes on a series of familiar shapes: crescent, half moon, full, and more. Moon phases are really just the overlap between lunar daylight and the moon's earth-facing side. Learn about moon phases. What color is the moon? From here on Earth, the sunlit part of the moon usually looks bright, almost white. This is an illusion. The brightness of the sun's reflected light makes it difficult to see the moon's actual color from a distance. A closer look reveals that much of the moon's scenery comes in shades of dark grey, like rocks found near volcanoes on our own world. The moon has volcanic rock from ancient lava flows, and these dark colored materials absorbed must be the visible light that reaches them. Overall, only about 1/10 of the sunlight that hits the moon is reflected back into space. This ratio of reflected light is called albedo. For comparison, our watery planet bounces about 3/10 of incoming rays back into space. Venus has an even higher albedo than Earth, reflecting well over half of the sunlight that reaches it. So, how does the dark volcanic moon outshine Venus in our sky? It all comes down to distance. The moon orbits Earth at an average distance of about 239,000 miles, 385,000 kilometers. That's a long way by human standards, but almost nothing compared to the tens of millions of miles that separate Earth and Venus. Thanks to this relative closeness, a full moon directs enough sunlight towards our planet to cast sharp shadows on the ground. The moon's albedo may be teeny, but even a small amount of reflected sunshine is enough to make the moon seem brilliant from our perspective on Earth. Mother season see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought it into her son's head, sky moon. Mother brought it into her son's head. Mother season see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought it her into son's head, sky moon. Mother brought it into her son's head. That moon in the sky, mother so bright in the sun. The light of the moon, mother she thinking sunny too. The light of the moon, mother thinking sunny too. That moon in the sky, mother is so bright in the sun. The light of the moon, mother thinking sunny too. The light of the moon, mother singing sunny too. Mother sees on see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought into her son's head, sky moon. Mother brought it into her son's head. Mother sees on see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought it into her son's head, sky moon. Mother brought it into her son's head. Mother, sweethearty beating it, sunny like the moon. That white color, mother's expectation. That white color, mother's expectation. Mother, sweethearty beating it, sunny like the moon. That white color, mother's expectation. That white color, mother's expectation. Mother sees on see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought it into her son's head, sky moon. Mother brought it into her son's head. Mother sees on see the dot on in the forehead, sky moon. Mother brought it into her son's head, sky moon. Mother brought it into her son's head. Bindi on mother's son's forehead. Friends, perhaps none of us has forgotten that while looking at the full moon, mother used to give us sandalwood paste on our forehead which looks like the moon. Meaning the mother automatically knew that it would shine as white as a sandalwood stick. The witness that shines is the full moon. A most passionate question. It is believed that when the moon is on the opposite side of the sun, it receives all the sun's rays and bounces the reflected rays, like it happens in our land too. Maybe, friends, you might have guessed when the sun is in summer, how many bright rays are visible to us. When the sun is there in winter, we do not see as much sunlight. Is the earth side of the moon only filled with rocky soil and dust? The moon's surface is covered with a layer of fine dust and rocky debris called regolith. Without an atmosphere to protect it, The moon is vulnerable to meteorite impacts, cosmic rays and solar winds, making its environment barren and inhospitable. 20 February 2024. Moon facts. NASA Science.government, https science.nasa.government. Moon facts. Nearly the entire moon is covered by a rubble pile of charcoal grey, powdery dust and rocky debris called the lunar regolith. The brightest and largest object in our night sky, the moon makes Earth a more livable planet by moderating our home planet's orbit on its axis, leading to a relatively stable climate. It also causes tides, creating a rhythm that has guided humans for thousands of years. Earth's only natural satellite is simply called the moon because people didn't know other moons existed until Galilei discovered four moons orbiting Jupiter in 1610. In Latin, the moon was called Luna, which is the main adjective for all things moon related lunar. With a radius of about 1080 miles, 1740 kilometers, the moon is less than a third of the width of Earth. If Earth were the size of a nickel, the moon would be about as big as a coffee bean. The leading theory of the moon's origin is that a Mars-sized body collided with Earth about 4.5 billion years ago. The resulting debris from both Earth and the impactor accumulated to form our natural satellite 239,000 miles, 384,000 kilometers away. The newly formed moon was in a molten state, but within about 100 million years, most of the global magma ocean had crystallized, with less dense rocks floating upward and eventually forming the lunar crust. Earth's moon has a core, mantle and crust. The moon's core is proportionally smaller than other terrestrial bodies' cores. The solid iron-rich inner core is 149 miles, 240 kilometers in radius. It is surrounded by a liquid iron shell 56 miles, 90 kilometers thick, a partially molten layer with a thickness of 93 miles, 150 kilometers surrounds the iron core. The mantle extends from the top of the partially molten layer to the bottom of the moon's crust. It is most likely made of minerals like olivine and pyroxene, which are made up of magnesium, iron, silicon and oxygen atoms. The crust has a thickness of about 43 miles, 70 kilometers on the moon's near side hemisphere and 93 miles, 150 kilometers on the far side. It is made of oxygen, silicon, magnesium, iron, calcium and aluminum with small amounts of titanium, uranium, thorium, potassium and hydrogen. Long ago the moon had active volcanoes, but today they are all dormant and have not erupted for millions of years. With two spheres on atmosphere to impact a steady rain of asteroids, meteorites and comets strikes the surface of the moon, leaving numerous craters behind. Tycho crater is more than 52 miles, 85 kilometers wide. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair. God of in those that spin of the moon, that spinach of the moon. God of in those that spinach of the moon, that spinach of the moon. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Oh, here's a glimpse, and the eyelid of the hair, and the eyelid of the hair. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. There is intoxication on the forest. Ganga is in news. Ganga is in news. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. Hey, that ego of Shiva, that miracle of the moon, that miracle of the moon. So that means the moon is surrounded by a shell of liquid iron 56 miles 90 kilometers thick, a partially molten layer 93 miles 150 kilometers thick surrounds the iron core. Friends, nowadays it is the summer season when the sun is first visible from the soil of our earth in the morning. Then the rays do not spread that much heat. But when it is afternoon, the heat is unbearable. The color of the rays is visible so brightly, meaning sun rays fall at an angle in the morning and are reflected, and in the afternoon the rays fall and the reflection also rises. That's why the afternoon light becomes completely white and spreads warmth. Maybe full moon is the same because the earth comes before the sun. Hence the mother gets excited by the witness of the moon. As much as mother thinks the moon is white, will Earth appear as while white from Venus? Like a very bright blue star with a much fainter white star nearby our moon. Earth might look slightly brighter from a cloudless Venus than Venus looks from Earth. Partly because from the Venus point of view, Earth would always be fully sunlit. 24 May 2023. Venus, NASA Science.government, https science.nasa.government. Venus. Venus is a cloud swaddled planet named for a love goddess and often called Earth's twin. But pull up a bit closer and Venus turns a leaf. Solar System Tour, Venus, NASA.government, https science.gsfc.nasa.government. Venus. Venus is almost the same size as the Earth, but its proximity to the Sun and its massive carbon dioxide atmosphere keep its surface temperature at 465 degrees centigrade, 870 degrees Fahrenheit, with a surface pressure of almost 100 times Earth. The planet is dominated by rolling volcanic plants with a couple of elevated plateaus, Aphrodite, Theda, Theda. Its bright sulfurous clouds make Venus is by far the brightest planet as seen from Earth. Venus rotates backwards with respect to the other planets. A Venus transit in which Venus passes in front of the Sun as seen from Earth will occur on June 6, 2012 and will not occur again for 105 years due to the high temperatures and pressures. No lander or probe has ever survived much over an hour in the Venus environment. Friends, I just tried to write shiny moon by understanding the face of the moon from the earth. Moon is our nearest natural satellite on which we always fly. But our mother also lives in a relationship with the moon. Mother considers the moon like her own son. That's why the mother wants her son to be as bright as the moon. I lost my mother in 2016. I understood my mother very well, so I decided to write about the moon from Earth's perspective. You decide how useful this article of mine can be for our future. Until then, allow me to begin our next arrangement.